Hi everyone, Jason Schifrin here with Zaylor Properties in Las Vegas, and as a real estate agent, I'm often asked, how realistic are these real estate reality shows? Well, the too long not gonna watch this episode answer is gonna be pretty much all of it. But right now I'm gonna break down 3 of the most popular of these real estate reality shows and let you know what's real and what's not. The first one is going to be House Hunters. House Hunters probably has over 4,000 to 5,000 different episodes between all of its iterations, between regular House Hunters, House Hunters International, Island Hunters. Yeah, there's even one for people who can afford an island. I wish. So let's break it down. First of all, they're only looking at 3 houses, and no. I would love if all of my buyers only wanted to see 3 houses, and then they were definitely making a decision on one of those 3. The fact of the matter is you're going to probably look at a lot more homes. In fact, I think there's an NAR stat that you're going to look at close to 40 homes before you make a decision. Yikes. That being said, also, what they don't actually tell you is you've bought the home already. In fact, you actually moved into that home before HGTV even came out to film it. So what does that mean? Well, it means that several months later, after you and your family have settled into the home that you hunted, was actually filmed first. And then HGTV takes all of the furniture out of your home. And then they have you look at 3 homes that each have a very creative nickname to them. Usually they are alliterations of each other too. You go through these 3 and you come down to make that tough decision to choose the home you've already been living in for probably about a year at this point. That's how House Hunters works. So when it comes to House Hunters, how real is it? Not at all. Don't get me wrong though, it's really entertaining and some of the houses are pretty nice. The next show we're going to break down is it's going to be a 2-parter. It's going to be $1 Million Listing, and since there are currently 2 versions of $1 Million Listing, we'll go over each of them. Now, before I rip this show to shreds, sorry, Mom, I know you're a big fan, and I'll be honest, I'll watch the show with you sometimes. So $1 Million Listing New York. For starters, a lot of the times the apartments that they're in, that they're saying that they're selling, might not actually be the home that they are selling. So what do I mean by that? So I mean, agents like Ryan Serhant, Frederick Eklund, and Steve Gold, they really do have the listings of the homes that they're talking about. They really do have 123 Main Street as an exclusive listing of theirs. However, a lot of the homes in New York City are co-ops, and a lot of these co-op boards don't allow filming to take place inside them. Most famously, the first few seasons, Frederick Eklund would wake up in his home. That wasn't actually his home because his co-op wouldn't allow filming even for his own house. So 123 Main Street might actually be represented by a condo down the street that does allow the filming to take place there. So that's going to be starters for $1 Million Listing New York. For $1 Million Listing LA, there's a few inconsistencies here. For starters, the buyers go into the home and they say to Josh Flagg or to Madison or to Josh Altman, like, yes, I like the home, I want to buy it. And then one of those agents calls up the other agent and that agent picks up the phone right away and they make the full deal right over the phone. This is probably not true for a few reasons. Number one, the most glaring reason is real estate agents don't pick up their phone. I do, but most actually don't answer their phone. It's really annoying. The thing is also, this isn't, look, verbal offers are actually legal in a lot of jurisdictions, and they very well might be legal in Southern California where $1 Million Listing LA takes place. However, we're talking, 20, 30, 40, $50 million properties here. I really doubt they're being done with a phone call over the phone. So everything is going to be in writing. So on that note, to say something that's definitely fake between both $1 Million Listing New York and Los Angeles is this. The situations are real. The homes the people are buying and the interactions that they have with the buyers and the sellers are real. However, a lot of buyers and sellers don't actually want to be on the show. So the agents write down everything that happened and they hire an actor to reenact a lot of what happened with the actual client, and it could have happened months or even years before it was actually filmed for TV. And then the last thing on that, this one really goes more for $1 Million Listing LA, is the drama that ensues is absolutely scripted. Here's why. Unlike in New York, the agents in Los Angeles are members of the California Association of Realtors, and as a result then are also members of the National Association of Realtors. When you're a member of the NAR, like myself, you do adhere to a code of ethics. And the drama that ensues on this show, well, that is definitely an ethics violation and would probably lead to a loss of licensure if these were in fact real arguments and things going on. For example, the bad mouthing and the pushing and shoving that both literally and metaphorically happens between these agents on this show. There's enough agents in California, I'm sure that if they didn't like each other, they could very easily avoid each other. They don't need to go out of their way to try to harm the other one's business, which again is an ethics violation. So the third and final show is Property Brothers, and what's interesting about Property Brothers is, a big portion of the show is filmed here locally in Las Vegas, as the Scots do live here. Now, here's some interesting tidbits about it. Drew and Jonathan, I don't believe, are actually licensed anymore in real estate. In fact, I think it's Drew who has the contracting license and Jonathan who was the realtor. While both did own Scott Real Estate at one point, their roles kind of reversed on the show, I think because one of them looked more rugged and the other one looked better in a suit and tie. True story behind Property Brothers is Drew actually quit real estate in the mid-2000s to try to pursue a career in acting. When that didn't work out, he got his contractor's license. While his brother was killing it on the other side of Canada, in the real estate game, he was killing it on one side of Canada in the contracting game. That's when HGTV approached them to create Property Brothers and reverse their roles. So, also, Property Brothers makes it seem like HGTV and Property Brothers is actually paying for the renovations on the home. And they don't directly say this, but it's kind of like a marketing type of budget. That couldn't be any further from the truth. Due to the fact that Property Brothers is filmed quite often in Las Vegas, we do see the casting calls for them on our social media here locally, as we are targeted for them being Las Vegas residents. And it specifically says you need to have a certain amount of money or capital in liquid, meaning that you have to have a cash in hand in order to participate in the show. I think it's around $50,000 or so. So, look, these shows are very entertaining, but they couldn't be any further from the truth on how real estate works. So if you want to talk about renovations, great. Let's talk about renovations, and I'll get you in touch with a contractor, and we'll explain that subject. You want to look at some $1 million homes? Awesome. Allow some time for me to communicate to the other agent and submit all offers in writing. And I promise I'm not going to badmouth any other agents on the way. And last but not least, if you want to be a buyer of mine and you want to look at only 3 homes, give me a call right now and choose one of them, because I'd love to only show you 3 homes and then have you buy one. Anyway, there's the lowdown on some of these real estate reality shows. I'm Jason Schifrin with Zahler Properties. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe for more.